Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 94 of Be With Me. Holy Kaboli, we have got practicality just reeking in today's passage. I'm going to read it. It's from Mark chapter 1, verse 35. And rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed. And Simon and those who were with him searched for him, and they found him, and said to him, "Everyone is looking for you." And he said to them, "Let us go on to the next towns, that I may preach there also, for that is why I came out." And he went throughout all Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and casting out demons. So yesterday we found that Jesus kind of joined the 5 a.m. club. And what that is what do you do when you have the world to yourself first thing in the morning? We found Jesus heading towards prayer by getting desolate and starting early in the morning and while it was still dark. And so we find Jesus answering a question that we're posing retrospectively, and that is, what one thing do you choose to do when you could choose to do anything? And for Jesus, it's prayer. So he rested, he needed to arise, and then he needed to get desolate so he wouldn't have the distraction of the 12 guys up flushing the toilet or whatever. And then he fired up the intercom system to pray and connect. And so the question today is, why does he have to pray? Like, what's the deal? What's the big deal? Why do you have to pray first thing in the morning? And that is, we're going to find out today on what he does, the purpose that he has. And so the challenge that Jesus is going to lay before us is to make our day, as he made his day, of such value, of such challenge, of such effort, that you need to pray before it starts, to prepare to achieve, like set the goal so high that you have to pray to achieve it. And that's what Jesus does. So this darkness that he gets up in and departing to get to get desolate is not so that he just is alone, it's that he's together. So the desolation that he heads towards is so that he gets close to the Father and Spirit in the Trinity. And the alone, the purpose isn't aloneness, it's actually intimacy. And this quiet, the purpose of the quiet, getting away from the disciples, the purpose is not quiet, it's conversation. I always say, if you're having a quiet time, you're doing it wrong. Quiet time is meant to be a conversation, to be intimate, to be close, to be listening, to talk to God, that sort of thing. All right, so today, it's what is your why? Like, why is Jesus setting himself up with prayer? Because he's got a big day ahead of him. So he's saying that this prayer is going to be the thing that empowers and informs the go part of the day. So the go part of the day, he says, let's go that I may, and here's the kind of the big theme, is preach in other towns other than Capernaum. So he directs himself towards the synagogues in other towns. So you'd say, well, isn't that interesting? He's heading towards the Jews. He's focusing on the Jews. Now that's true, but the parallel passage in Matthew, I just thought this was amazing too. So this is very early in his ministry, and he does focus primarily on the Jews. But he's already mentioned when he was in Nazareth, he mentioned the Syrians and the Lebanese that God had been active with in the Old Testament. And here in Matthew it says, so his fame spread throughout all Syria, and they, Syrians, brought him all the sick, those afflicted with various diseases and pains, those oppressed by demons, epileptics and paralytics, and he healed them. So not only does Jesus deal with the sick of the Jews, now they're dragging people in from another country. It's actually closer than Jerusalem. And it also says that people from Jerusalem came up. So So he's starting to be a big deal here. And what is he a big deal in? So there's preaching, there's casting out demons, there's healings. So he's doing some spiritual battle. He's doing people battle. No wonder he needs to pray. Healing every disease. So he's, girding his loins for all these things that are going to happen. So the challenge is, and he's laying it before us too, is choose to make our days of such importance, of such value, that there's no way that we could achieve it without first choosing to fire up the intercom system, to fire up the intimacy system, to fire up the conversation system, and to fire up the closeness system, which is all synonyms for the word prayer. So make our days of such value or such advantage that we need to pray. And that, like Jesus, imitate him to pray when we could choose to do anything. I would challenge us also, let's make the idea of having the good news to be a part of our day, and make Syria, that is sort of people outside the box, a part of it. So let's head towards the fellowship and the connecting and the anything that desolation that is making a space for the Lord. So the desolation brings us close. The aloneness brings us intimacy, and the quiet brings us a conversation that is prayer. So this recharging for a purpose that we see Jesus do, I think, is a fantastic model. And I think to plan our days, to make our prayers desperate, give me wisdom. Maybe you're a mother with young kids, like, Lord, give me strength for this. Or you're dealing with some issue in your family, give me perseverance. So I think Jesus is saying, for heaven's sake, do something hard and make prayer necessary. Thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.